The thing that's held back affiliate marketing as a whole is that affiliate managers are just so swamped with work. They're just very under-resourced for the amount of work they have. So it is a huge game changer if affiliate managers have 10 hours back and have the ability to use their expertise and knowledge to reach a much larger long tail.
Welcome back to this week's Affiliate Marketing Podcast with me, your host, Leanne Johnston. And today I'm excited because I've got the lovely Michael Cole, CMO of Everflow, joining me this week on the mic to talk about AI and affiliate marketing and all the buzzwords and everything else that goes on in between. Michael, welcome onto the show. I think we're going to get into the kind of like the nuts and bolts, the meat and bones of what affiliate managers and affiliates need to really understand about AI and where we are today. So thrilled to have you on the mic. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. I think it's a really interesting time and happy to unpack some of the stuff that we're thinking through internally.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell everybody a little bit about your role at Everflow, what Everflow is, what it does, and then we'll get into how you guys are approaching AI at the moment.
Yeah, I'm the head of marketing at Everflow as CMO. I've been there for coming up on 8 years, so a super long time, although not for the affiliate marketing industry. I remember doing we did a platform demonstration with all the other sort of major affiliate networks, and everyone had been 15 years in the industry. I don't think you'll find any other industry with people that have been here as long or as experienced.
Yeah. Well, I'm going on 25 years, which makes me feel very young.
True veteran.
Yeah. And so let's talk about AI. What we really wanted to do was approach this episode and sort of talk about scaling smarter and how AI is changing the way that we manage affiliate programs. And obviously, Everflow is integral in that because, your platform is providing the tools for affiliate managers to actually do this. But my first question to you, and really this was to kind of ground us into the episode, is when we talk about AI being used to scale affiliate partner programs, what does that actually mean in practice today? Because people are using AI for lots of different things, different parts of management of programs, and there's a lot of loose language flying around. But what's real and what's still just a really nice idea and something that you should be looking at, but not really kind of hurrying to implement?
Yeah, I'll answer this sideways by talking a little bit about Everflow and our sort of journey. So Everflow is a partner marketing platform. Customers use us for the tracking and attribution of affiliate marketing and all other marketing channels. Our entire history of we're coming up on 10 years is that we've always been a API first platform, and a lot of affiliate networks actually use us as their back end. They build on top of our APIs to build their own sort of networks, etc., and scale them into massive $10 million plus in payout a month type networks, sometimes even higher than that. And that's always been a part of Everflow. But the thing is that used to be something that you could only do with developers. You had to be a full-on business with an entire development team that was building on top of Everflow to do it. Where AI gets really interesting, and I think for affiliate managers and everyone, is the fact that it makes this ability to solve small things without developers really easy. So we do this a lot internally at Everflow on the marketing team. Is we'll basically build, say, a dashboard that serves 2 people on our team, or automations that inform sort of the salespeople of hey, a new customer just reached this level of payout to affiliates, these milestone type automated emails. These were things that used to involve developers. And the problem with involving developers is there's a billion things developers can be doing. They have to really focus on security, how it fits within all these other tech stacks, etc. And so they always had to focus on these big picture things that served a lot of customers. Where I see AI going is now we can build very personalized automations and dashboards that solve such essential needs for a very small group of people that no product was ever going to be built for. And we're seeing that a lot with not only how people build on top of Everflow, but how we're doing it internally with ourselves is how are we taking our data to empower our team? And a quick example of that is we set up this thing called a resource hub, and every single blog we've ever built, our one pagers, our master classes, all of our webinars, etc., we are now tracking those like you would track affiliate links. We can see sort of like whenever they're shared out, who on our team is sharing it. Are they on sales? Are they on CS, etc.? And then what is all of the attribution that comes out of it? Like, did that person go to that masterclass and then request a demo? Did they sign up for a
Yeah.
webinar? So all these affiliate type concepts are now applied to all of our content. And we were using a like dedicated product for this, and it just wasn't
Mm,
very good. And
mm.
we were able to build on top of our own tracking this like resource hub that's now vastly better than what was on the market, fitting in the concepts of affiliate. And I see so much opportunities with AI where you're basically like taking a bunch of concepts that exist in affiliate marketing and be like, how can I now apply automation to this using AI that makes my life easier?
Well, I mean, and it's the signals, right? We're not saying AI is going to replace relationships, because relationships are still a very big part of what we do in affiliate and partnership marketing. And what we are doing and what we are able to do is get things built quicker without the need for coders or developers. And obviously, there's a queue in businesses of what developers should be doing, as you said, but also to iterate smaller, like niche things that might be required by the marketing team or the sales team or the outreach team, for example. And this gives you a certain sense of freedom that you never had as an affiliate manager before, because you always had to do the one to many. So if you think about how an affiliate program is managed, you've got content creators. They need different things to SEO affiliates, to GEO affiliates, to B2B partners that you're bringing into your affiliate program. Yet we were always being forced to manage everybody in one platform. So now you can build on top of Everflow and use the AI tools to actually give you the insight, the dashboard, the tracking, whatever it is that you want to be looking at. And the interesting thing that I love about this, it gives you insights that you never had access to before, because now you can track at a granular level and you can track every event. So you could send out promotions to your affiliates, get an Everflow tracking link in that and go, oh, affiliate's actually resonating with this email. Communication is probably one of the biggest things that we do poorly in affiliate marketing, from outreach to keeping affiliates loyal to reactivating inactive affiliates. And so I think having AI capabilities to do things like this on the marketing side of the program is actually a bit of a game changer for clever marketers that want to embrace it. Now, what about what's just a nice idea phase? Because I know you're really deep in AI and I want to kind of like pick your brains while we're on this a little bit. So what are you seeing people do wrong with AI right now, expecting it to do things that it's actually not capable of doing, in your opinion?
AI is very bad at judgment. I think all this discussion about AI and replacing jobs is so crazy. I mean,
Right.
I think it is fair to say that, especially on like our content team, we're producing at like 3 to 4 times as much content as before, but that just means you just have new work to do. Like, there's no point where you're like, I don't need humans for one thing. If you
Mm,
can create stuff more, it still has to be great, and that
yeah.
still requires human judgment. They're just focusing more on the polishing and choosing. So I think
Yeah.
that's one piece of it. I think the other part is just AI. It needs so much hand holding for everything. I think a good example is that I do almost all my AI type coding in Google Sheets. So Google Sheets
Okay.
has a feature called App Scripts,
Yeah.
and you can basically put in any number of like automation codes into AppScript and then have it do stuff. And how you build that code, it's just going back and forth in AI. Every time you do it, you'll get a bunch of errors and bugs, and you just keep going back and forth until it fixes itself. The actual coding process is just bashing your head against the wall until it works. But
Mm,
in terms of the capabilities, it's really good at reading every sort of API document, all this other stuff. So what does that mean
mm,
is like you can pull integrations for everything. So one of the first things I did was I pulled all the HubSpot data into a spreadsheet, and then I had it ping Slack with like, hey, do you want to add this like call summary to HubSpot? And then it would write into HubSpot. Like, that's a very sophisticated like use case of multiple systems that would have
mm.
required a developer spending a lot of time understanding how all the systems work. AI just does that stuff. It didn't take any time to connect all these other platforms. So
Mm.
I think that's a good sort of starting place. If you think of it as just like how can I do stuff in my spreadsheet, of pulling data into a spreadsheet and pushing data out of the spreadsheet, it gets a lot easier to understand. These models just like they're an alien intelligence, and you're sort of playing this puzzle game of like how do you sort of set it up for success. And the only
Yeah.
way you can do this is just build. How do I want to? I want to solve something simple. Let me do that with an AI script, And then as you get better and you get more used to how the AI works and how weird it is, then you get better at it. But there's no way to really know that until you do it. And most of the stuff people talk about on LinkedIn is just like, I don't understand it at all, and I'm like very deep into this. I don't think they understand it either. They're just being like, it's all
First
hyperbole
to
and just
market.
like
Yeah.
a bunch of like fear mongering for no reason.
That fear mongering thing has actually touched a chord with me because last night I was in bed reading somebody's LinkedIn post, and I can't remember who it was, but they had a really strong opinion about the fact that SaaS products shouldn't start an affiliate program unless they're doing more than 1 million ARR. And I vehemently disagree with that post on so many levels. And I know it's clickbait, but the problem that I have with it is, um, ChatGPT, whatever, is creating these posts for you so you can go and post out a whole bunch of stuff so you can become visible, so you can get new business. But are you using your judgment, your personal judgment, in terms of what is this saying about the industry? Is this a good message to be giving out to potential clients? Does it actually resonate with clients that maybe aren't as experienced and know to look past that stuff? And how is that impacting the industry as a whole? So there's almost like what I want to see is a duty of care in terms of how you use AI in terms of, creating content, working with your affiliates, pushing data around even, because as you've just said, it can get quite critical, it can get quite aggressive. And if you just blindly trust whatever it's giving you, you're not going to actually end up getting, good contextual information to work from. And you could be making some of the worst decisions with the best intentions. So I'm quite concerned about the adoption rate, but I love what you've said in terms of, people just need to get in and get on with it and start playing with it and understand how it works for them in their context and within their programs. From what you're seeing across Everflow's kind of customer base, because obviously you've got, 1,000+ customers. I don't know what the number is now since the last time I spoke to you, but quite a lot of different types of programs on the network or on the platform. How are you seeing some of your clients adopt AI tools? Is it more for like recruitment and like the outreach and the communications, or have you seen somebody do something quite cool and different with it recently that you can maybe share?
Yeah, I think everyone's experimenting right now on the best ways
Yeah.
to do it. I think with AI right now, like the most useful use cases we're seeing with customers and internally is it's all the back-end administrative stuff. It's all
Mm.
of the building of reporting, of the data analysis, etc. Because those
Yeah.
are just the things where you just want to understand sort of what's not working and sort of the
Mm.
challenges.
Mm.
So, and like there's a lot of like process to that. An example of this is on customer success now we have this idea of having like a weekly email that goes out to all of our customer success reps that
Mm.
basically looks at their portfolio of all the customers they manage and says like, here's the 10 customers that have dropped the most in terms of payout to their affiliate so that the customer success person can work with the customer to make sure they identify any issues, etc. But
Yeah.
even in that process, like it took many tries because at first we were doing sort of like a week to week comparison of
Mm.
how much the payout to affiliates dropped. And what we found is just in a single month in the affiliate program, there's so much drop from week to week. Like a lot of affiliate programs start pretty slow at the beginning of the month
And pick up
and really
pace.
speed up at the end of the month when there's more ad
Mm.
spend.
Mm.
And so it really throws off the reporting. So we ended up going towards like, let's compare like last week versus the same time last month for the
Yeah.
same week.
Yeah.
And that actually got really helpful for identifying any sort of issues. And no one's going to build a SaaS product that compares week over month for affiliate programs. Like it's too specific. So that's
Mm.
why this ability to basically like pull out this data from your network and from your platform and then set up this thing like that's the other thing with this AI coding stuff is the emailing part is now really easy. So
Yeah.
it's really easy to say like look at all this data and send me a weekly email on it is something that is very functionally like you can just achieve that right away with AI.
Mm.
And the combination of like very specific data points that give you sort of what you can report to yourself or your boss, like that's very helpful. And also things that actually help you do your job.
Mm.
Um, that's very powerful. And I think that the best use cases we're hearing from customers are all just sort of like all of the back end management, all the tedious tasks that used to take 5 to 10 hours of like, how do I organize these affiliates or how do I see reporting on sort of like which affiliates are struggling, which ones have had big drops? That's where people are getting the most value because these are the things
Mm.
that no one wanted to
But
do, but
yeah.
it's so important to do. And therefore, you had that mismatch. Whereas talking to customers, understanding what works, recruiting, reaching out and finding out new opportunities, those ones were more exciting. And those still are the places where you add the most value. You can just automate
Mm.
out the busy work.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what you're doing with your headless access or AI agent automation. So, can you just talk a little bit about what that is and just explain how you incorporating that into the platform, and then how you are expecting it to help program managers? Because I think that's a good place to start.
Think of Everflow in the situation. If you're familiar with Salesforce,
Mm.
Salesforce has all customer data, and basically no one uses Salesforce as is. People build on top of Salesforce very customized solutions, etc.
Mm.
Headless means that you can build all those custom solutions without ever logging into a Salesforce or an Everflow. Basically, all the data, all of the integrations, all the technology is built outside of the platform, and it just pushes data and pulls data in between the two systems. So a headless platform means that a platform you never have to log into because you can access everything you need outside of it. So
Mm.
this is something that we always made available through our APIs.
Yeah.
And again, APIs were only a thing that developers cared about 6 months ago. But
Yeah.
now AI can read an API document right away and sort of interact with it. So API is now so powerful.
Mhm.
And I think 5 months ago, our CTO started looking into building like an MCP server.
Mm.
MCP just means it's kind of like the API, but MCP is just very AI agent friendly, and basically they can talk with it. So an
Yeah.
agent can be like, "Hey, I want to look at reporting for top 10 performance influencers from last week, and I only want to see data from, say, Canada." It can talk to MCP server. All it's sort of like an index. It knows exactly where to find everything, and then it can find that information and be like, okay, here's your output report of that. So we basically like started this MCP beta pretty early on. It was so quick to build because we've always been a flexible platform. And now we have lots of customers in closed beta using this MCP server where their agents can now pull any sort of data from Everflow. So that's sort of the current state of things, is that we make the data really easy to access. And that means that you can build on top of Everflow and sort of build these personalized things. And again, the personalization matters because you can build an automation that reports not only sort of the things that you need, but say your boss needs. And you can also pull in data sets that are now like really valuable to you. So say you have your affiliate program and you've just been managing it there, but you know
Mm.
that your boss really cares about sort of, say, like what is the like Salesforce HubSpot pipeline. You can build an integration where it pulls that data from HubSpot or Salesforce into a spreadsheet, pulls all of your affiliate data into a spreadsheet, then matches based on how they're performing, how much revenue, the lifetime value, etc.
Mm.
It's really easy to do that now because you're basically just telling the AI, I want to do these things. I want it to show on a spreadsheet. And then I want you at the end of the day, once this is all working and the data is useful, to send that report to my boss every single week to say, like, not only are we driving a bunch of revenue, but it's high lifetime value based on the CRM.
And also internally for other teams, because I mean, a lot of time for some of the big enterprise clients that we manage, a lot of time is spent on educating internally and then deciding what the strategy is and then executing externally. And a lot of this can save time if you can just automate a report in the format that the team that you're sending the report to needs to receive it in, so they can easily digest, because not everybody in your business is going to be an affiliate expert. And so that internal kind of education piece is also quite time consuming for affiliate managers as well. What about guardrails though? Because obviously, the data that you input is great, but is the AI agent actually contextually understanding, especially for like programs where you said there's sometimes seasonality, there's context, just because there's a drop, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It could be totally normal for that business. What are the guardrails that need to be in place before a program manager should feel comfortable letting an AI agent act autonomously in their program? Like, are there any like checkpoints, or like, do you build an agent that then critically assesses, does this actually make sense in comparison with everything else that we've done? So is there checks and checks, or like, how are you seeing people implement this?
Yeah, I think before you even talk about sort of technology or processes,
Mm.
I think a good example is sort of like creating content. So
Yeah.
something that I've really gotten the habit with talking to our content team is just this idea of like make great art is really important in this world of AI because
Mm.
it's really easy now to have a call with an expert, hear their voice and perspective, and then turn that into an article from the transcript. AI is really good at that, but you still need a ton of critical judgment to be like, is this an interesting hook? Does this actually talk about what the expert's saying? Or did it like add other details or go on like a ramble, etc.? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of human judgment to be like, okay, this is not good enough again. I have to regenerate it. I need to change this part. I need to rewrite this part. I need to do this. So even in content, there's a ton of guardrails of human judgment to do there. So I think that's
Mm.
part one. I think the other part with all AI agent stuff is just you need to have a secure data layer where
Yeah.
you know the data is not going to be changed. Like I'm sure people can build, say, like a vibe coded affiliate marketing like program these days, but
Yeah.
there's just without security on the back end, there's a ton of potential consequences. If all your customer data gets exposed, like that can end your business for one thing.
Yeah.
B, things are gonna break all the time with like vibe coding. We our sort of like idea around like vibe coding versus like what our developers are building is that vibe coding is really good for small projects that are not interconnected. So if we're just building, say, that resource hub, if something breaks there, nothing else breaks with it. And because we have lots of our own team members using it, we will identify when something breaks. And with vibe
Mm.
coding, stuff always breaks. So it's really important that for that stuff that A, there's someone watching it, and B, it's fine if it breaks. Whereas anything built by developers, it has to fit within the entire system. You can't build anything that if it breaks, suddenly all your reporting's down or your
Mhm.
affiliates don't get paid for a week. Those are just sort of life ending things. So I think that in terms of those guardrails, very important that you have stable systems, which is why Salesforce is suddenly, I keep bringing up Salesforce because I think that
Yeah.
they're so well suited in this AI world because they have security, governance, and they're meant to be built on top of. So they've
Yeah.
been really good with the AI agents because you store your data securely in them, and then you pull it out to look at your reports and no longer have to deal with like how over complex Salesforce is at this point because you're
Mm.
doing your headless setup on top where maybe it's just a spreadsheet or maybe it's a vibe coded dashboard. No matter what, you know that data is secure in Salesforce. And I think that that's going to be the same thing with all this affiliate marketing stuff is you need a secure place for it to be that you then build on the solutions that solve your business needs, solve your team needs, and also solve what your leadership needs to see.
Yeah. And any other internal teams that you're working alongside as well.
Yeah.
So if you were an affiliate program manager today, because I want to pick on your experience now, and you were managing 200 to 500 affiliates in a program, and you wanted to start bringing AI into it, where would you begin? Because it is overwhelming. You can start with the outreach and you can start with asking it to give you reports and then, slowly grow out from there. But in a meaningful way, what would your first 3 steps be to somebody listening to this podcast going, I don't even know where to begin with AI. I know I need to be looking at it, but where do I begin? What would you recommend that they do?
Yeah, I would recommend simple analysis that sort of you haven't done in a long time. AI is really good when it's okay if it's slightly wrong.
Okay.
Where you just want to sort of identify the things you're not looking at is a perfect place for AI. So, as an affiliate manager, a good example would be like, okay, here's my reporting for, say, the last 4 years.
Mm.
Please give me a list of all the sort of affiliates that delivered performance in the past that haven't delivered any performance in the last year that I should potentially do outreach for. Okay, now give me all their information, their contact information, etc. And you always want to, it's best with AI to always kind of have it second guess itself. Based on the data, is there any reason that you see why we're not working with these affiliates now? So those things are always good too, where it's sort of like trying to second guess itself so that
Yeah.
you have a really quick look at, okay, here's all the affiliates and also like anything I should keep in mind for like maybe why I didn't do that, just so I can remember sort of where I was at. So that's a good thing because the best affiliates to turn back on are the ones that were already successful with you. So I'd start there. The other ones are just sort of like just thinking through what are things on my side around reporting, back end stuff
No.
that's very tedious. How can I make that easier on me? A good example is at Everflow, we don't look at sort of like demo requests. We look at the events around us. How did it drive sort of like qualified leads
Yeah.
that are likely to become customers and then become customers? So having a monthly analysis added to a spreadsheet of looking at those later stage things of not demo requests, but the later stages and comparing them month over month and getting analysis on a spreadsheet that I share with my CEO. That's just an easy example. It's just like, it's useful to have that top line conversion that you use for your day to day. But if there's something that's more accurate about the true revenue of affiliates, just having that on a spreadsheet on a weekly or monthly basis makes your
Mm,
life so much easier. And
mm.
that's a good AI thing where you're just like, okay, like look through the data, just add it to a spreadsheet every week with the comparison of what was sort of like the amount of ones that reached, say, opportunity stage. So I think those are all really good starting use cases of, again, start with like an idea of spreadsheets because it's really easy to be like, what do I want to see in a spreadsheet that would save me time inside of my system?
Yeah. Love that. Okay. Is there a broader question about what an affiliate manager role is going to look like in the industry with AI coming in so fast now? Because we had to do all of this manually. So we know how to do it because contextually we had to wade through spreadsheets and build pivot tables and everything else. Now you don't need to do that. Is that going to change the way that affiliate management role evolves, do you think?
Yeah, I think it will. I think, as I've said many times before, the thing that's held back affiliate marketing as a whole is that affiliate managers are just so swamped with work. They're
Yeah.
just very under resourced for the amount of work they have. So it is a huge game changer if affiliate managers have 10 hours back
Mm,
and have the ability to use their expertise and knowledge to reach a much larger long tail in a way that doesn't break them. What we realized internally is that the most powerful thing we have of data is call transcripts. There's
yeah.
so many useful things you can do with call transcripts. And affiliate managers, if you're not capturing your calls right now, you definitely should. You have so much
No.
insights and data there. But that also means that the more affiliate managers are spending the time on calls with affiliates, understanding what they need, on calls with their leadership and other teams to understand what they need, and sort of having AI look at all those transcripts to take insights that they can then take action on, that's enormously powerful. And if you can sort of like automate all the outreach and reporting stuff and be spending another 5 hours on calls a week, there is so much
A lot of
gains to get
power.
out of that. So I see
Yeah.
affiliate managers moving more in that way versus less.
So doing less of the administration work, more of the relationship management work, which is actually what we've always wanted to do, but never been able to because the tools haven't been there to enable us the time, the efficiency to do that. Okay, my last question for you on this podcast is, and I always ask this, but what's the one thing you wish affiliate program managers understood about AI right now? Either an opportunity that they're missing or sleeping on, or a mistake that you keep seeing people make right now?
Yeah, I think the main thing is to not get overwhelmed by AI or
Mm.
to listen to all the people talking about AI because I just think they're fundamentally wrong about where AI is good.
Okay.
AI is so good at this small personalized use case stuff and so bad at big picture. Like no one should build a company with AI because something's going to break at some point and the entire company is going to go down. And we've seen
Yeah.
many examples of these vibe coded like apps where all the
Apps.
data got leaked and it was a disaster.
Yeah.
Like that's not where AI is good. AI is really good for I'm affiliate manager. I really wanted to look at these three data points and no
Mm.
one has ever built this for me. Now I can build it for myself and I understand deeply why I need this and no one else does.
Yeah.
That's where AI is awesome. And the best way to do this is to really just start small, just start with a spreadsheet and having AI build you app scripts and codes like that. The great thing about AI is it explains exactly where to do it. So you just
Yeah.
basically like, I want an app script that looks at a spreadsheet, looks at these emails, and then does this other thing on a spreadsheet. How do I do that? And it will just generate the app script. It'll generate the step-by-step instructions to get started. And that's the main thing is once you get started, the creativity and excitement's really going to explode really quickly because you realize like, oh, this is actually easy. And the fact that I have knowledge that no one else has about the grind of my job and the suffering I go through means that I am better equipped to build this than anyone else.
And also storytell, because one of the biggest challenges that I hear advertisers tell me is I don't know how to advocate for the channel internally against media, SEO, all the other channels that my business is investing in. This is how you do it. This is how, like, we finally now have the tools to enable ourselves to tell those internal stories about the things that make your job awesome. And also answer some of the questions that you get internally that sometimes you just don't have the data to actually quantify and tell, because there's just so much data that you can get out of a platform as well.
AI can be a pretty good sounding board as long as you distrust it fundamentally and you only use it as a way to sort of refine your own thoughts by not being caught up in your day to day.
Yeah, I love that. So if you're struggling a little bit, use AI as your, well, not therapist, but use it as your sounding board and get it to actually talk sense back to you until you agree with what it says.
Yeah. And
And
sometimes
use
you
your
will
own
never agree
context
with it,
there.
and that's fine too.
Yeah,
You learn a lot by not agreeing with
you
something.
do. You do indeed. All right. One last question for you before I wrap us up. What are you most excited about with AI? Because I know you're kind of like digging into it quite deep from a marketing perspective, but what, if you had a crystal ball moment, what do you think is going to happen in the next 12 months? What are the big like breakthroughs that you can see changing the way that we do affiliate marketing?
What I'm most personally excited for is we spent the last 3 or 4 months just building so many internal tools that make
Yeah.
all our teams' lives so much easier. And what we're doing internally is we're going to be like unveiling in the coming week. Well, by the time this podcast comes out, we're going to have an AI use case recipes that basically like here's a bunch of things you could do with AI. Here's a step by step on how to do them. Here's a prompt, etc., so that people can start getting their feet wet with how to use AI. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that initiative, and it's
Love
something
it.
that'll just be very easy for people to start getting used to this and see how it
Mm.
can help them. As a part of this, though, we with all these AI tools we're building, I think the other part that's really interesting is we're building internal solutions that we're now going to be working on sort of like lighter versions as the next stage. Once it works really well for us, we'll make light
Yeah.
versions so we can start providing to agencies. So the
Okay.
same sort of like data analysis tools that we're using internally, we'll make a light version that like an agency can do with their clients, etc. And this is again where this AI stuff gets really cool. It's like we build this like very personalized solution for us. We can then split it off to a even more personalized solution for agencies that solves their needs and so on. So we can continue to build these things that no one was going to ever build on the developer side that
Yeah.
now solve so much needs for our internal needs, solve so much needs for our agency needs, and eventually also we'll make an even lighter version that solve the needs of customers that may be more novice but need to know, say, like how to set up all your tracking, how to like look up your cart, all these things. AI is very good at looking at a bunch of documents and generating. And as long as it's guided and it's refined each time towards a perspective and a need, it's very powerful. So I think this very like personalized solution world is really awesome. And
Mm.
as like for the future and stuff, like I think that we by pure coincidence, Everflow ended up in an extremely exciting moment because we were always an API first company and we were
Yeah.
always having people build on top of us. And
Mm.
AI is just democratized that. So everyone can build on top of us. And that sets us up in a really good place. And I think that we will be seeing among all SaaS companies, there's basically the ones that are the stable, reliable basin like Salesforce and Everflow that you know you can build on top of. And those companies really benefit from AI because people solve their own needs by
And
building
their
on
own
top of
challenges.
them. And then there's a
Yeah.
bunch of like SaaS products in the middle that turns out you can just replicate in Claude within a couple days and build a better solution because it's a solution that you need. And those are the companies that are going to get wiped out. And I think that we are in the beneficiaries of this moment. And it's just moved so quickly. And people are going to learn on all sides that suddenly they can build the things they always wish existed for their business and roles. And that's going to be really exciting for the future.
Yeah, I think that's going to change the game, really. It's going to separate the kind of like the lazy marketers from the innovative ones. I definitely see that happening already, just in terms of the way that you think. And that is where the specialism is going to come in. So it's not, I mean, I always talk about our agency not being, service for hire. We're more than that. We actually plug in strategy. We build tools ourselves. We kind of like help clients solve challenges. And that's really where the magic is. It's not just about the fact that you now have the tools. It's how are you going to use the tools? Michael, I'm going to have to end it off here because I know you and I could talk about AI forever. But it really is exciting to see how Everflow is embracing AI in affiliate management, and the fact that you're actually also testing it yourselves before you roll it out to your clients, and giving us that opportunity to have personal challenges solved, like really simply. So I kind of want to say it's affiliate marketing democratized, and you coined the phrase first. So I'm really excited to see what happens. And thank you for coming on and sharing just some basics about where people can get started, because it is overwhelming, and it's helpful to have directional flow. You don't have to know everything today, but you do need to get started. So it's been great to have you on the podcast again, and I think you're one of the few people on the planet that has come on this podcast 3 times, so it says a lot. So yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.